The 7th of July, a Friday, and welcome to Damon Bruce Plus. We're going to take a little trip around the sports world, but we have to. I mean, absolutely have to start in Las Vegas. Welcome to America, Victor Wembanyama. I really mean it. You're officially in it now, up to your eyeballs. Of course, the Summer League. Of course, the NBA would start with a Frenchman's security team. Just happens to be the number one pick in the draft, possibly physically assaulting Britney Spears. Find me a more NBA-worthy headline than that. I dare you. First of all, Major League Baseball, you would never. I mean, the NFL wouldn't even think of that. That's only the NBA right there. Mwah. Okay, so good news. Britney's okay. Leave Britney alone. Britney's okay, which is very good. We don't want anyone assaulted or hurt or roughed up or pushed or anything like that. And Victor Wembanyama has already got it down. The whole, like, man, I didn't even see her. I don't know. Like, you're going to be fine in the NBA if you keep on going about your business like that. Here's my question. How is Britney Spears walking around the Aria so unencumbered due to the lack of her own security detail that she can just walk up to anybody? You figured that Britney Spears would literally be surrounded and flanked by like 6 security people at all times. Or is she just not that famous anymore? Or maybe Victor Wembanyama didn't spot her because every girl walking around Las Vegas is trying to look like Britney Spears, so they all just kind of blend in together. I don't know what the hell's going on there, but my word. Look, I guess they've already done the investigation. No charges are going to be pressed, nothing like that. Everyone's going to walk away. No worse for the wear here, which I guess ultimately is good because we can get back to the business of basketball before basketball even starts in Las Vegas. But yeah, Victor Wembanyama's security team maybe roughing up Britney Spears it's fantastic NBA action. Unbelievable. Seriously, unbelievable. Just a staggering story to begin the Summer League. I'm surprised it happened, and there are roughly 1 million security cameras. Whatever really did happen, it's on tape. When are we going to get that tape? TMZ, get on it, all right? How bad was this? How roughed up did she get? I mean, what really happened? And why, Britney Spears or not, why would Victor Wembanyama's security team be that worried about a, 5'8", 130-pound woman? I just don't understand where the sense of urgency to protect Victor overcame his entire security detail as he's just walking to dinner. It ain't easy being famous. And I guess Britney Spears found that out the right way, too. The only way this story could be more 2023, I guess, is if, like, Taylor Swift had been involved. Britney is a little bit more of the then than she is of the now. But we're not holding that against her. Go Britney. We're on Team Britney over here. Definitely on Team Trace Jackson Davis over here. I think that that's well spoken for. And let me tell you, if indeed tonight he makes his NBA Summer League debut, I'm going to be glued to that TV like it's a playoff game. I can't wait to see him. I hope he's going. A tight hammy kept him out of the California Classic up in Sacramento. Look, if you're going to Vegas, the best thing you can do is play with house money. You can't lose. And I just look at where Trace Jackson Davis was drafted. I look at what the Warriors need, and I just think it's house money. Like, they can't lose with this kid. I really think it's going to work. God, I hope I'm right about this. I hope I'm not wrong about this for multiple reasons. Forget about my own credibility. That's got nothing to do with it. I really want it for him. I want it to work for him. And I also want the clear message sent that everyone in the NBA who claims to know what they're doing might not know what they're doing if they let someone as good as Trace Jackson Davis coming out of college just fall all the way to the back end of the second round. To me, the whole drafting process was ridiculous that he had to go through. And I hope he just unleashes some anger on Summer League. I don't know if Trace Jackson Davis is going to be a great NBA player in year one. As a matter of fact, to be safe to bet, no, he won't be great. Trace Jackson Davis should be a great summer league player. That's basically a glorified college all-star semi-pro game, and Trace Jackson Davis should do well in that. So hopefully he goes, and if he does, we will be breaking in live tonight with a little Trace Jackson postgame for Mr. Davis hyphen. We're going to be in. We're going to be in tonight if this is actually his summer league debut. Just thinking about the NBA, I can't help but think that this is one of Steve Kerr's biggest years as a head coach. I mean, obviously, he's got titles and pelts on the wall. He's not reapplying for a job or anything like that, but he's nearing the end of his current contract with the Warriors. And this is just a window that is closing on the franchise, and time is running out, and everyone knows it. And Steve has to double down on recapturing a sense of urgency, which, let's face it, was nowhere to be found on the Golden State Warriors in last year's regular season. They have a sense of urgency with a lineup that, due to its age, I don't think it's unfair to bill it as delicate. You know, load management, I hate those words, but managing some loads is what Steve and his training staff is going to absolutely have to do to get this team to its finish line, healthy and ready to actually play playoff basketball. Steve has two rookies who must be folded into the mix properly for this to really fit, for it to fit from a future cap standpoint. Podziemski and Trace Jackson Davis need to not turn into nothings. They need to turn into some things. And then he needs a big year 3 step forward for Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody, the last remaining embers of the youth movement that never happened. These guys really got to step up and contribute, and that has been one of this franchise's blind spots. I'm not going to say it's just Steve's blind spot, but it's this coaching staff, this front office's blind spot. The Warriors need to be in win tonight mode as often as possible. Again, it's hard to sell urgency in an NBA regular season. I get that. But the urgency should be available for Steve to sell because he can point at the end of the road. He can see it coming. The entire Warriors basketball team is led by a core group of players that are smart enough to understand that their life cycle isn't in the beginning or in the middle. It's at the end. So you got to reestablish that sense of urgency, and this is where I think Kerr needs to pull on the strings delicately and carefully and make it happen. He's got Draymond back to being a vocal leader. I expect Draymond to be in full plumage as soon as the year begins. You got a GM now here who, I'm not saying he is filling the war chest with players that Steve wants to play, but he's definitely removed from Steve's war chest players he didn't want to play. So if you're going to have bodies on a bench, they should be conceptually available to the head coach. It feels like they're moving in the right direction from that standpoint. So that feels like good news. It's a big year for not just the Warriors and their players, but it's a big year for Steve Kerr. It's year 10 for Steve Kerr. You know, Bob Knight once said, about 10 years anywhere, your voice starts losing power in any locker room. And this just happens. It's the natural course of a coach's life cycle. And now, obviously, Bobby stuck around a lot longer in Bloomington than 10 years. But here it is. Number 10 for Steve, 4 titles on the wall, looking for a 5th, has a team that some people think could be built to do it. Others are very skeptical of if they stay healthy, which is about as big of an if as you can put in front of, Chris Paul. It's going to be a fascinating journey. I can't wait for it to get underway, and in a really odd way, it feels like even though the California Classic has happened and we've seen some really nice performances up there, Trace Jackson Davis needs to join the mix. This needs to happen in the Summer League for us to really say, hey, we're underway in a new year here, and it's going to be late October before you know it. Like, we're going to be playing basketball that matters again before you know it. That offseason just goes by quickly. Thank you so much to our sponsors. Once and again, I just need to let you know how delicious everything you're ever going to order from Ike's is going to be. It is the best sandwich you're going to run into today, tomorrow. If you can go back in time, it's the best sandwich that you were going to run into yesterday. It is delicious. What is it? Basically, whatever you want it to be. What's your name? Whatever you want it to be. But that's what the dirty sauce gets you. That's what the Godfather sauce gets you. It goes well with anything. Whatever flavor you might be thinking of, they can meet it at Ike's. Go ahead and get yourself an Ike's sandwich. The combinations, the sandwiches they go to infinity, basically. So get yourself an Ike's. If not today, this weekend, you'll be happy that you did. If you're thinking about a little burger time, get yourself a burger from Uncle Boy's in the inner Richmond, Balboa, and 4th. Delicious San Francisco born and bred burgers right off the grill, baby. And do not forget the onion rings. Do not forget the lumpia. Do not forget the lumpia. And don't forget the booze on the way home on a weekend. I saw some people in the chat trying to have an over-under on bottle pulls today. I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to hit the under. We're going to have 0 bottle pulls today because Damon's got a couple of things to do. Look at me going third person. Your friendly host today here on the Plus has a few things to do which are going to prevent him from pulling from any bottles of blackened whiskey today. But tonight, maybe as I'm hopefully watching Trace Jackson Davis make a little debut in Las Vegas, rocks glass, blackened whiskey, boop, 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 boop. Happy boy, happy girls. Everyone who's picking up a bottle of Blackened seems to be very, very happy that they did. Find out why when you're at a Bevmo, wherever you pick up your bottles of booze, you go ahead and you ask them, carry Blackened, and you will indeed be buying it, and you'll be happy that you did. My sponsors are awesome. We have delivered an awesome month, I believe, for our sponsors in terms of exposure, in terms of imprints and whatever they call these views or on Twitter. We've had a huge audience boom in just the last 28 days, adding over 1,000 subscribers. So thanks to all of you for supporting me. To anyone who's dropped any coinage in the jingle jangle ganja jar, that means an awful lot. What means just as much as you going out and supporting my sponsors. That is a great way to make sure that this show keeps on chugging and growing, and it certainly is doing that. So I thank all of you very, very much. Baseball, the Giants had the day off on Thursday. The A's took the day off in Detroit and lost 9-0 to the Tigers. The A's are in Boston Friday today, and we got the Rockies in town taking on the Giants. And oh, what do you know? Ross Stripling is back with an 0-2 record and a 6.51 ERA. He obviously has been a huge afterthought in this season. We've hardly seen him, and what we have seen, we haven't really liked to see it. So Ross Stripling, it's about that time. If you're going to join this team and do something, why not start today? Why not get the Giants a win over the Colorado Rockies in the last 3-game series before the end of baseball's first half? Austin Gomber, who's got a losing record, and he's got an ERA over 6.5. He's going. So Ross Stripling set the tone. I'm not afraid to shop at Ross. It's like the best socks, t-shirt, underwear store you can find. I'll get a belt at Ross, too. I don't believe in investing heavily in belts. No one ever really notices your belt other than, are you wearing a belt? No one's, like, checking for quality. Just the stuff. The stuff at Ross. I'll even pick up some frying, like cooking equipment at Ross. Not afraid. Not afraid of Ross at all. Should we be afraid of Ross Stripling? Well, we'll find out. Just 3 games left before the All-Star break. Like clunky throwaway T-shirts, shorts that you don't really care about being seen in, whether or not you just need them to go mow the lawn. Ross. Down with Ross. Ross Posse. I saw that Phoenix could hit 120 degrees today. 126 degrees measured in Death Valley. They actually found a dead hiker That's how hot it is. People are like dropping dead, but 126 degrees in Death Valley, like that's where it gets like surface of the sun hot. And that's why no one lives in Death Valley. People live in Phoenix. They do. I've seen it. 120 degrees this weekend in Phoenix. I saw someone say it was 104 like last night at 9 p.m. Oh my God. It's a dry heat. I would at least hope so. Imagine it being 120 and muggy. Oh my God. Saw that the Earth might hit its unofficial all-time high this week in terms of global temperature. We're seriously just doing a bang-up job with this planet, aren't we? Just great job all around, everyone. You're really nailing it. Good Lord. That's way too hot. That's way too hot. So anyone who's living in Phoenix, Texas, we got cities that are like melting. We got people out there melting these days. So good luck to you. Get some ice cubes. A story that came out this week that I haven't had a chance to get to, but I want to get to today, and we will be getting to all your comments, by the way, in Club Plus. And by the way, here's the thing. There's so many comments going on. There's so much of a conversation happening, and that's awesome. But I miss more than half of it by the time I get to Club Plus. So if you want your convo to be in Club Plus, wait till Club Plus starts before you really throw it in that chat section. The Saudi Sports Investment Group might be coming round for more. Saw this on Pro Football Talk. Last year, Saudi Arabia's PIF, Public Investment Fund, set up its own golf league, became LIV, and eventually put themselves in such a financially superior situation that the PGA had no real other recourse, according to the PGA, than joining forces with this league whose money went to infinity. When you've got a league that is no longer dependent on attention or TV contracts for having money that goes to infinity, that becomes a threat. And, Pro Football Talk was basically saying, what if they decided to ever get into something like bigger than golf? And according to the Financial Times and Sports Business Daily, Saudi Arabia plans to launch a multi-billion-dollar investment company in order to, quote, expand its sports interests following its power grab in golf. The sports group will be part of the Public Investment Fund, and it will have a war chest to fund its expansion. The targets will be soccer, tennis, and other sports. Dun, dun, dun. How much money do you think Saudi Arabia would need to start its own rival football league, building its own billion-dollar stadiums? What if they said to Patrick Mahomes, forget about what the Chiefs are paying you, we'll double it? What if they said to any rookie coming out of school, forget about going to the NFL, we will guarantee you a 10-year, multi-million-dollar contract, which the NFL would never do, and we'll do that right now for you, and we have money that goes to infinity to throw at whatever problems no one paying attention to our league might present, and we're going to buy talent away from the NFL. What would it really take to get the NFL to come to the negotiating table? What would it take? What would it take for the league that says no foreign investors to say, all right, we are going to start taking foreign investors? And the one thing that has been proven throughout every moment of our history is once you start taking the money that doesn't stop, there's no stopping taking it. There's no stopping an avalanche of dollars when it comes to the greedy owners that own sports leagues. Wait until you see the jingoistic, we would never, no way, we honor the military, we honor America, we honor the passing and death of Pat Tillman, to, well, yeah, we'll take a few $1 billion from the Saudis if you want to have a piece of team XYZ in the NFL. It's going to happen. Find me the slice of the world where most amount of money isn't winning. Find it for me. It doesn't exist. The most amount of money wins, and the person sitting at the table with the most amount of money, whether they just got here, whether they've been able to invest all of their money or just a little slice of their money, the person with the most amount of money at the table is in charge of the table. That's how it works. What will the NFL do if the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund was denied an entry point into investing in NFL teams? Would they really create something that was the XFL but with legs, the AFL but with real legs, because they're getting real talent? What if there were another draft? Well, people wouldn't be interested in that. They're still addicted to the NFL, and they wouldn't be interested in a third league, a second league, because they never have been, they never would be. Well, the reason why that's always been a death nail for the other league is that other league needed revenue from TV and interest and ticket sales in order to sustain itself. This could be sustained to infinity without a iota of interest. Look at what Live just did. No one gives a rip about Live. And yet now they have purchased and own the PGA Tour. Again, you let money that goes to infinity just get its foot in the door, that crack becomes cracked wide open really fast. So there is something certainly to keep a little eye on this year. Saw another story that was from football where Northwestern has got a hazing incident that has left its coach, its very well-respected and decorated head coach, suspended for 2 weeks. And this is such a weird story. Ryan Fitzpatrick is, or is it Fitzgerald? I'm forgetting off the top of my head, and I guess I didn't write it down here. I just wrote Northwestern. You're weak. Because look, hazing is a part of joining a team. Like, there's good hazing and there's bad hazing. So this whole we're never going to haze anyone thing, it just doesn't work. That's, whatever HR meeting your insurance company sat through doesn't really apply to a locker room or how teams are built. And hazing is a part of sports. It's a part of the ritual. It's a part of the passing of the baton from the older players to the newer players. Welcome to the team. This is something we all went through. You're going through it too. And, I'm not talking about being abusive or physically abusive or sexually abusive or just out and outright trying to embarrass someone. I'm talking about good hazing. And there is good hazing. Don't tell me there isn't good hazing. I've been a part of it. Northwestern University commissioned an investigation launched in January, found that one claim from an anonymous whistleblower was supported, even though player accounts varied and there was not sufficient evidence that coaches knew about the conduct. According to an executive summary, the hazing incidents occurred in the team locker room and possibly started at Camp Kenosha, where Northwestern had spent about a week in the preseason until 2020. Quote, and this is the thing. How do you suspend your head coach when this is the quote about the investigation? Quote, the investigation did not uncover evidence pointing to specific misconduct by any individual football player or coach. Participation in or knowledge of the hazing activities was widespread across football players. So even though we don't know who was involved, there are varying reports, no one's really playing the blame game, we don't even know what happened, we can't confirm anything, we're going to suspend the head coach 2 weeks? Folks, the world's just gone soft. I don't know what to tell you. I just don't know what to tell you. Quote, hazing in any form is unacceptable and goes against our core values at Northwestern. We strive to make the university a safe and welcoming environment for all of our students. You fucking sissies. It's a football team. The laws of normal don't apply to a football team. I can't just stress that enough. And I know that people are going to be like, Damon, you're wrong about that. Everyone needs to be treated with a level of respect. No. You must find the weakest link on your football team and break that chain. That's how teams are built. Well, I don't like that. That doesn't hit my ear well. Go watch another sport. Go be interested in another sport. I don't know what to tell you. Hazing is a part of the ritual of football. It just is. Now, when it gets way too mean, when it gets way too physical, if it gets creepy, that's when someone needs to step in and blow a whistle. But like, oh, they taped they taped someone's locker shut and they couldn't get in their locker. Hazing. Guy glued my combination shut and I had to wear my football gear to dinner that night. Oh, it's hazing. We make freshmen get up and sing songs to entertain us at dinner. Oh, it's hazing. And fucking pussies. I mean, I just don't know what to tell you, man. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's just part of growing up. It's just part of being a kid. It's part of joining a team. Good Lord. I like to play do you remember that name? Do you remember that name? Here's a name you may or may not remember. Do you remember the name Monet Davis? Monet Davis was at the Little League World Series in 2014, and this girl was out there mowing dudes down. Like she was throwing the Little League equivalent of 90 plus and just retiring dudes. And I remember her being on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Monet Davis got the cover of Sports Illustrated. She had such an incredible College World Series, and it was the whole, look at what this girl is doing against the boys. And that's the part of it that people tried to leave out when they started setting her up for failure by claiming that, well, Monet Davis is definitely going to be the first woman pitcher in Major League Baseball. No, she wasn't. The reason why Monet Davis was allowed to go out and mow down those little boys playing Little League is because them little boys were like Monet Davis because they had yet to go through puberty. Once a boy goes through puberty, leaving them on the same field as, a girl is no longer like a very fair thing to do. And if Monet Davis had designs on becoming the first pitcher in Major League Baseball, folks, I'm going to tell you right now, Major League Baseball would 100% sign anyone who could go out there and give them innings to do it. But obviously, we have yet to meet that female to do that. A lot of people said that she was going to be the first, and I just thought, man, they are setting up this girl to fail. Well, the story of Monet Davis still contains baseball, and it's kind of cool. The LA Times recently profiled her, and she's 22 years old, and she's an intern with the Dodgers. She wants to be around baseball. She just realizes she's got no chance to play baseball, so she wants to be involved in a front office. And she's an intern with the Dodgers. Quote, since 8th grade, I wanted to get into broadcasting, but over time, I learned more about the sport. I learned about the business side of the sport and to go into that direction. Well, first of all, Monet, the fact that you're choosing not broadcasting in 2023 means you are onto something, because it ain't easy out there for broadcasters these days. Being laid off left and right. Do not get into broadcasting. I hesitate to sit down either one of my kids in front of this microphone just to record goofy stuff for our family archives, because the last thing I want is for either of my kids to ever become a broadcaster like Daddy. Let Daddy be a cautionary tale. But I love that. I love that story. All of the people trying to project their sports anxiety onto that girl could have crushed her interest in sports. It didn't. It didn't. She's an intern, unfortunately, for the Dodgers. But, good luck to her. I remember talking about her quite a bit back in 2014. And it's great that she's still around the sport. Before we get into Club Plus, I want to wrap up with this is the worst story that I saw this week that tried to actually pass itself off as a good story. And this isn't sports, but I just got to share it with you. A couple of disclaimers before I even get into it. There's always been a state-of-the-art argument. What would you rather have? Tradition, experience, or state-of-the-art? Well, ideally, you'd be able to marry them all together. But if I told you, we have 2 theaters of operation and you need an operation and we can wheel you into an operating room from the 80s, or we could wheel you into an operating room that is full of the most state-of-the-art technology that you can find in medicine, which would you choose? Well, everyone would choose the state-of-the-art theater for their operation. There's a friend of mine, his name's Vishal. He is a doctor, and he and I have talked quite a bit about, the future of medicine and how the pandemic just ran so many good people out of ever wanting to work in a hospital ever again. And, he would talk about robot doctors. And I'm like, man, I would never get into a driverless car, to be totally honest with you. So I certainly wouldn't entrust my life to a robot doctor. And he made the argument that it was hard to argue against. And I do love to argue, but he made the argument that was really simple. The minute you can mathematically prove that you are safer in a driverless car than you would be in a driver car because of human error representing the difference there, as soon as the driverless robot driver is good enough to completely overcome any element of human error, and you can prove that riding in a driverless car is safer than riding in a car with a driver, as soon as you can prove that mathematically, you'll do it. And I was like, I guess. Like, I believe in the odds. I believe in math. So, yeah, if you could prove to me that a driverless car was safer than a car with a driver in it, I guess that would be the first day I would ever get in a driverless car. But you're going to have to prove it before I do it. I'm going to need everyone else to be the guinea pig on that. And I would need everyone else to be the guinea pig on the concept of like a robot doctor. But again, my buddy said it's real simple. Human error is the root of basically more than half of the things that go wrong when you're in a hospital. Doctors are humans, and humans are fallible because it's who we are. Now, we're not saying that machines are infallible, but the minute you can prove statistically beyond the shadow of a doubt that going to a robot doctor would lead to you being healthier than going to a human doctor, you will go to the robot doctor. And I had to concede, yeah, like if you could prove to me that the robot doctor is better than the human doctor, maybe. So I tell you all that to tell you this. A woman named Emma Farge wrote about a story that is coming out of Geneva about a robot called Nadine. Nadine is a social robot powered by AI with human-like gestures and expressions, and it could have an important future role in playing to tend to the sick and elderly, according to a professor that helped invent it. Nadia Minot-Thalmann is her name, a robot expert from the University of Geneva who served as the model for Nadine's dark brown eyes and auburn hair, says Nadine and robots could prove more effective than human caretakers. The first thing she said was, like a lot of people didn't want to be in nursing homes when the pandemic hit. But guess what? The robot's got no problems with that. And here's another thing the robot does. The robot works 24 hours a day. As long as that battery is charged, that robot is in there working, taking care of grandma and grandpa. Global competition for nurses and careers is officially up, especially after COVID-19, says the story. And some countries are experiencing a staffing crisis in care homes, which some think humanoid robots could one day ease. Demonstrating its conversational skills, Nadine told Reuters that she talked, she sang, she played bingo with residents at a Singapore nursing home 3 years ago. So this has been happening for 3 years, and these robots are becoming more and more lifelike. But I just, they're trying to pass this off as a good story. Can you think of anything more depressing than your dear old family member being cared for by an army of robots in a nursing home? Like, oh my God. Like, okay, I see the merits of it. I guess. But, I mean, this isn't Rosie from the Jetsons. She doesn't really care. She's not really there to, they pass that off as like, oh, this is a good story of better days to come. I can't think of anything sadder than a room full of old people being surrounded by humanoids who are the only ones left to care for them. Oh, my God. I think I need a sip of the day. Hold on. How's Grandma and Grandpa doing? Well, let's go ask BX Betamax 647. See how it's going. Oh, I mean, I guess we could call her Nadine, and it would be a little nicer. But freaking robot. I mean, are we going full Blade Runner here in the next 20 years? Is that what we're doing? AI, Skynet. What if I told you Skynet wasn't invented to bring about World War III or IV? I think we've already lost World War III, but World War IV, Skynet, that's not what AI is here to do. AI is here to take care of Aunt Betty. Oh, my God. What would be more depressing? An actual world war or having Aunt Betty being taken care of by a robot because that's the only one left to care for her? Oh, my God. Again, that was a story that was being passed off as, isn't this a good story? And I'm reading it and I'm going, no, it probably isn't. And that's why we call this Damon Bruce Plus, because we're going to do a few things that aren't sports along the way. And I had to sneak that one in there. Now it's officially time to sneak into the club. Are you feeling it? Are you getting ready for a little Club Plus? I hope you are. I'm certainly ready to take you there. And so I want to say thank you so much for listening this week. If you're on the podcast, it means an awful lot that you're here. We'll be back with live shows. And the minute Trace Jackson Davis makes his NBA Summer League debut, we will be recapping that whenever it happens. Or we'll be back 11 o'clock on Monday, right here, West Coast time, for another Damon Bruce show. Thank you so much for all of your listenership, your viewership, your support. It means the world. And in the meantime, please do remember that sports don't build character. They reveal it. And like that, he's gone. Yeah. Boom. Here we go. Welcome into Club Plus. Let's see what everyone is talking about, chatting about, saying, doing some things here. What do we got? I'm just picking up right where we left off. Hold on. Let me scroll up here. What do we got? We'll start with T from the 203. What Saudi knockoff NFL league would get for a TV deal? I mean, I don't know. Here's the thing. They don't need a TV deal. They don't need television revenue. They have oil fields. DVDV. PGA executives sold out. They're just weak. Here's the thing. They just did the math, and they said we have an unsustainable model. We cannot afford to sit down and play high-stakes, no-limit poker when we have a limit on our chips and the person we're playing against has unlimited chips. Again, the most amount of money wins. Not some of the time, not partially, all the time. All the time. Ernie Chavez, the Saudi Raiders. Look, what if I told you that the Saudis wanted to put a football team back in Oakland? How quickly would a lot of people come around to that, right? Pat Fitzgerald, thank you very much. I was getting my, Pat Fitzgerald, thank you. Here's a great idea, by the way. A great idea. Nick J., the Sim God, says Saudi should buy EA Sports, pay college players a ton of money for likeness, and bring back all college sports games. Yes, that would be that would be fantastic. That would be fantastic. I mean it. Oh, the SF Demons. Remember them? XFL. What do we have here? This is AJ Cruz saying Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler called the first XFL game between San Francisco and LA. Hashtag never forget. I got to be honest. I had forgotten. I had absolutely forgotten. Oh, I guess we're getting into the hazing portion of the show today. No snapping towels in the shower. I mean, yeah, like that just happens. And it doesn't need an investigation, and you don't need a coach suspension. Like, the team will take care of that itself. And if one kid is way too uncomfortable, maybe they don't belong on that team. Football isn't for everybody. And football will weed out the you ain't supposed to be here's. And they've been doing it historically very well for years. I mean, like, or you could say, well, that wasn't very well. It was abusive. Well, football, by definition, is abusive. You're out there abusing your body. You're doing things that no reasonable person would do. Asking for the reason to be installed into a football team when the game, I mean, it's nuts. It's nuts. You know, some serious guy shit going on. I don't know how to explain it other than that. It's some serious guy shit. And here's the thing. Guy shit is usually indefensible. But it's part of the admission price. What do we got here? There is no hazing around here is the same thing as hearing from the cops. There's nothing to see here at the scene of the crime. Hazing is college life. Always has been, always will be. Michael, thank you. You get it. You're right. You're right. T from the 203. I'm with you, Damon. World's soft like Charmin. Oh, one of my favorite South Park episodes, True Blue Forever. Sarcastaball. It's nuts. It's being part of a team. It's part of team bonding. I went through it when I was, starting here, so you're going to go through it as you're starting here. It's rites of passage. East Bay Ricardo says it's being part of a team. Might as well get rid of team bonding. I mean, here's the thing. At what point is somebody going to say, hey, forcing your entire team to go to bowling night is a form of hazing? Are we going to get the ACLU involved in that? You can't force a person to go to any team event because that's team hazing? I was in a fraternity at IU, and I remember going to this hazing conference that they had, to make sure every kid's not being hazed. And this one pledge class from a fraternity all walked in wearing the same T-shirt. And the person who was giving the seminar said, look, that right there, that's hazing. That fraternity is hazing that pledge class because they're all being forced to wear the same T-shirt. And I just put my head in my hands going, oh, my God. Is that the – I mean, this is back in the 90s. You could feel just the – you could feel the pussification start to brew. I'm going to tell you right now, I've been involved in fraternity hazing that is well beyond any level of you're wearing the same T-shirt. We used to do these things called pledge grenades. You see a pledge on campus, you'd yell grenade, and then it was up to the pledge to go duck behind something. And it was hysterical. We had guys leaping behind bushes, into classrooms, into fountains. I knew that this one kid that was pledging a fraternity was going to absolutely be awesome when I yelled grenade by Showalter Fountain in the middle of Indiana's campus, and the kid dove in the fountain. I ran right up to him and I gave him a hug. I said, you're all right with me, man. You're my kind of guy. That was hysterical. It was hysterical. Oh, did you haze him? Maybe. But it was fun and it was funny. We became friends and we're still friends to this day. So back the fuck off, PC police. You know, what about making somebody wear a backpack? I remember when someone was like, oh, the Giants are hazing Sergio Romo because they're making him wear a Dora the Explorer backpack. And what do you know, Sporticus goes, good hazing. Making a rookie pitcher wear Dora the Explorer backpack out to the bullpen pregame. Bad hazing. Anything that involves physical harm. There you go. That's it. I mean, do you remember, and you couldn't even do this anymore. Do you remember when you used to have Major League Baseball teams take all of their rookies and say, you know what, you're dressing like barnyard animals for this road trip? Or everyone has to be a version of Little Bo Peep, Cinderella, or Rapunzel. So you made guys wear skirts and dress up and wear wigs, and it was funny, and everyone was cool with it. If you did that today, there would be lawyers, which is why yesterday was cooler than today. Good Lord. Damon, these rants are why I'm a fan. Thank you very much, G. Martinez. AJ Cruz, speaking of weenies, Damon, you hear about Michigan trying to make mislabeling someone's pronoun a felony? I'm sorry, I can't. I can't. I won't. I can't. I can't. Him can't. He, him can't. I can't. I can't do it. Like, here's the thing. I think we should just go back to the world where it's safe to assume that if you look like a man, you're a he or a him, or if you're a woman, you're a she or a her. And should I, in addressing you, get that wrong and you correct me, like, okay, I'll call you whatever you want. But this whole, I can't stand this in corporate America. Like, there's all these guys who are like, here I am, a 55-year-old married man, father of 4, and in my bio, I got he, him. Like, that's the modern equivalent of the Harlem Shake or planking or the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Like, you're just performing in some social media wave of just bullshit. I'm sorry. It's just all performative bullshit. I think you should respect people. I think you should respect people. So I'll call you whatever you want, but if I trip over it on the way to finding out what you want, you don't have the right to an unoffended life. You might be a little offended along the way. Yeah, I mean, the Warriors Warrior hazing as rookies wearing kitty backpacks. We got to stop that. You think Steve Kerr is out there signing off on abuse? Good Lord. Kim Schaefer, Radio Lifer. Kim Schaefer, hello, how are you? It's great to see you in here as always, Kim. Whenever you stop by, it makes my day a little bit brighter. Monet Davis was a badass chick baseball pitcher. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. Right until those kids hit puberty, and then they started taking her deep. But it's great that she's still in baseball and she still loves the sport of baseball, and society putting on all these pressures of her to be, you got to be the first female major leaguer of all time. You're good enough to do it. No, she was never good enough to do it. She was never going to do that. But thank God everyone didn't impress upon her this future that can't be had. She didn't attain it. Now she's got anxiety problems. No, she still loves the game. She's an intern. That's awesome. Damon, I flew into the Bay Area from Phoenix this morning to visit for a few days. I'm going to check out Uncle Boys. Danny G, thank you very much. And do not forget the lumpia. Get yourself a great burger. And on the side, I'll have lumpia. Otis Bird, my man, always so good to see you in here. Saying, I wondered what happened to Monet Davis. Thanks, Damon, for the update. Yeah, it's a great story, except as Erwin points out here, it is a great story, except for the Dodger part. Michelle, good to see you. I think Michelle was up in Lake Tahoe on a little bit of a vacation. We haven't seen her in a couple days. She's back. Monet Davis was a badass. Yes, she was. Damon, did you see that DirecTV is going to stream the NFL Network in Red Zone? Is Red Zone coming to DirecTV? Good. Because that's where you kind of need it. Because, look, I'm all about YouTube. I love you, YouTube. Thank you for giving me an opportunity and a platform to keep going and doing what I do. I am worried about Red Zone on YouTube because of the delay. Because of the delay. Sports on YouTube TV is usually 30 seconds behind the live action. This broadcast is about 15, 20 seconds behind the live action. When you post something, it takes just a minute for it to come up. And sports is immediate. Again, it's really, really, really hard to be watching a sport, be following whatever journalists or whoever you follow on Twitter while you're watching a sport. You see Tim Kawakami, tweet interception, and then you look up and 30 seconds later you see the interception. So maybe this is just I'm covering sports problem and it won't be a problem for you. And as long as it's happening real time to you, it's happening in real time, but it doesn't work for me. And I really hope that YouTube can figure that out. Donovan, some of these driverless cars in Embarcadero are creepy as hell, aren't they? Aren't they? I got to tell you, nothing makes me rubberneck at a car going by than seeing it driverless. I mean, I'm going to get into an accident just looking at a driverless car, and maybe that's how the robots take over one day, because there's my human error. Again, T from the 203, robot doctors, no thanks. Look, that's what I said to my buddy who was a doctor. And he just simply said, the minute I can prove to you that you're in better hands with a robot doctor than you would be a human doctor, you'll go to the robot doctor. Maybe. Let's see what else we got here today. Eric, smash that like button. Button Vixen. Is that is Elena in here today? I don't know if I missed Elena, but I think maybe he's just trying to do a little word flow. Smash that like button, Vixen. Sorry, I'm late, DB. Thank you very much. And Elena, wherever you are. God, I miss you. You're the best. Let's see. Nick J, the Sim God. Nick, by the way, we're seeing you in here more and more frequently. Welcome. Good to have you part of the team, man. A robot doctor doesn't accrue sick time, vacation time, or a pension. We are effed majorly. No lube. Again, maybe it won't be as bad as we want, but or as we think. But dude, it's the world is changing. It's changing rapidly, and it's going to change during our lifetimes. And here's the thing. We are the guinea pigs. Our generation is going to be the guinea pigs for all of this. Well, I don't even know if it's our generation, but everyone living right now is a guinea pig for this. 50 years from now, it'll be ironed out a little bit. You know, if we all lived in medieval times, we might have been guinea pigs for jousting matches. This is our jousting match. It's not another rider on the horse with a joust and a suit of armor, a jousting spear. It's not that anymore. That's not what we're going through. We're going through, will you be replaced by a robot in your lifetime? A lot of people are going to find out, you know, AI's not going to completely put them out of the job. It will be required, though, to help you do your job. So you better get with it. But, oh, wait a minute. T from the 203 says the video's been dropped of Britney Spears and Wemby. Do we have that? Do we have that video? I haven't seen it yet. I can't see it right now because I'm on the air, but I can't wait to see it. I'm going to go to TMZ as soon as we're done. I'm guessing TMZ's got it. Again, whatever happened was caught on camera if it happened in a casino. The only place where they're not filming every single square inch of a casino is the room that you rented. That's it. Everything else is being filmed. The elevator, the casino floor, the hallway to the room. The only place the camera doesn't go into is behind the bedroom door. So we'll see this, and I can't wait to see it. True Blue Forever just getting kinky here, saying, stripper nurse robots? I like how we got nurse robots, and you immediately go to, what about stripper nurse robots? It's why you're the perfect audience member for me. Sporticus. Nadine sounds like it was based on Paulie's robot in the Rocky franchise. Yeah, that was Rocky. Was that Rocky 4? Rocky 4. Happy birthday, Paulie. And then Paulie turns the voice into a female voice, gets a little creepy, and you know Paulie wasn't getting anywhere. So who knows what he did with that robot. We're talking about robot wives here? No, we don't want robot wives. You don't want a robot wife. No. Here's the thing. You're not allowed to have sex with a robot while anyone's looking. Drew Down asks, have you seen Happy Gilmore? Of course I've seen Happy Gilmore. What guy my age hasn't seen Happy Gilmore? Happy Gilmore came out when I was in college. It was a big deal. We should ask the Duchess out in Florida to see how she feels about being cared for by a robot. Bryant, look at it this way. The Duchess, let me tell you, we're not going to leave her to the robots. We're not. I will say this. The women on my mom's side of the family, and thank God for this, they live forever. My great-grandmother, she lived on her own until she was 101 years old. And she did it because she was an independent, fierce soul. My grandmother lived deep into her 90s, and hopefully the Duchess will be with us for a very, very, very long time. Mom, if you're watching, I love you. I am not going to leave you to the robots. But the minute I find out that robots are better at taking care of you than Lindsay is, you're going to the robots. Otis Bird, this is mind-blowing. I'm telling you. What do we got here? Remember Ben Stiller from Billy Madison when he was mean to Grandma? How about a warm glass of shut the hell up, Raylord 84? Yeah, we don't want that. We don't want Ben Stiller to Granny. Don't want that. Now, again, my audience, here we go. Bring on the sex bots. I, for one, welcome our cybernetic overlords. Yo, Adrian, stop. Look at it this way. If you think having sex with those robots are fun, wait until you try it with a human. Woo! Let's see. With Happy Gilmore. There's a lot of Happy Gilmore talk here going on. Yeah, Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford. We had a little Blade Runner reference here from Bryant. Yes. Let's see. What do we got here? Oh, thank you, Mike. Great show, Damon. See, when I go off on weird robot tangents, I don't know if people still think it's a great show. So thank you very much. The Mike Analytics 19. Thank you very, very much. Club Plus, Laser Show. Oh, here's a great old movie. San Jose Jazz Fan the Third. Cherry 2000. Shout out Melanie Griffith and Pamela Gidley. I didn't know Pamela Gidley's name, but yeah, Melanie Griffith, Cherry 2000. That came out when I was like a kid on HBO. It was in heavy rotation. And yeah, I definitely had having, I guess Pamela Gidley was the Cherry 2000 model of the robot that Melanie Griffin was trying to help the guy find and salvage in what looked to be a shutdown Las Vegas in the middle of the desert. But yeah, man, Cherry 2000. I would have absolutely banged that robot. Geez, I hope my mom and my wife are watching. What robots would you have sex with? How about Rosie from the Jetsons? You got your sip of the day. We had a request for a sip of the day. Question here from Mike again saying, Damon, happy Black and Friday. Does it mess up the algorithm if I pause and play the show? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know enough about algorithms yet. All I know is that we'd love you to hit that like button. We'd love you to go ahead and watch this. And should you need to step away, just let it keep going. Or, you know, just open up another browser, open up another tab, put this on mute, and let it just keep rolling. Then maybe go watch a few videos from last week. Get those numbers up, baby. Ike. Ike said, I had season tickets for the Dragons back in the day, or the Demons. The San Francisco. Oh, my God, Ike, you bought Demons season tickets? You've made a lot of good investments in your lifetime. I don't believe that was one of them. Did you get a jersey? Do you have gear? Did you get gear? What do we got here from Ike? No jersey. I was wearing only suits phase back then. Now he's all vested up. Oh, look at this. Oy, oy, oy. Postman in Capitola. Jingle jangle. Payday Friday. Send it in, Jerome. Thank you very, very much, Postman. We do appreciate that. Send it in, Jerome. What do we got here? Towel slapping. The last one in the shower is a rotten egg. Don't let Uncle Ray get you. Well, Uncle Ray, I had an Uncle Ray. Thank you very much, Daniel. Here's the truth of it all. Again, can it be explained? Can it be reasoned away? No. But Baron Red has absolutely nailed it. Guys bond through doing dumbass shit together. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. By the way, too, I knew enough girls in a sorority will tell you that the girls in sororities take hazing like further than any fraternity, any sports team. You girls are freaks. I've heard the stories. I know. I absolutely know. Mike Analytics 19 popping a twin. in the tip jar, in the super chat. Thank you very much, Mike. I really appreciate that. The ganja jar is filling up. Let's see. Second time this week, B Paul 30 has decided to make it jingle jangle. Thank you so much, B Paul 30. Appreciate that deeply. Nice of you. Yo, Adrian. Woo! Look at that. Ganja jar. Thank you, Adrian. Really, really appreciate that. Very nice of you. Pussification. R.I.P. George Carlin. Thank you very much. Nathaniel, you're going to use this too. There is a pussification going on. Someone said, Mike is using it in his next meeting. Careful with that, Mike. Careful with that. You better be working for yourself. You don't want to use that in a place where you might get fired. The backpack hazing was great. Yes, it was. Sergio Romo had to carry all kinds of candy in the Dora Explorer backpack. It was great. It was great. San Jose Jazz fan again says JaVale hazed Draymond by handing out a blanket with a sleeping, drooling Draymond face on it. He did. He gave everyone blankets with a sleeping Draymond on it for the team plane. Oh, man. Again, pronouns. Again, Look, I'm here to respect everyone. I really am. I'm not here to disrespect anyone. If I use the wrong pronoun on the way to talking to you or with you, sorry. Didn't mean it. Not trying to rub you the wrong way. Pronouns. How about this? Let's make it all fair and equal once again and just go back to calling everybody, hey, you. Hey, Chief. Hey, Chief. That's a man or woman. It applies. Man or women or questioning. Anyone could be Chief. I think we should just all go back to Chief. Had a buddy in college named Dan Ola. He was known as the Chief. It was a sign of respect. Hey, Chief. That was the one guy whose actual nickname was Chief. It wasn't like, I can't remember your name, so I'm going to call you Chief. His nickname was Chief. It's the second sip of the day. Here's the truth. Ernie Chavez saying, as long as hazing didn't lead to Private Willie Santiago's death, hazing is okay. You need me on that wall. You want me on that wall. I like it. I like it. Thank you very, very much. Or T-bowing. Yeah, it is performative. Thank you, T, from the 203. You want to talk about movies that we couldn't make today? Blazing Saddles. You're right about that. That's what, dude, I want to see. There's this movie that I saw advertised called The Blackening. And it looks like it's a black horror movie where they go down into the basement and they find like the most racist looking board game ever, and they have to play it in order to live. And it looks like it's one of those designed specifically to make everyone uncomfortable comedies, and I can't wait to see it. It looks hysterical from all of the previews and trailers that I've seen. What do we got here? What do we get here? Uh-oh, I hear Ozzy upstairs. I hear Ozzy upstairs. He's crying. He's home all this week. He's on summer break. He's 2 years old. He really needed a summer break. Well, the summer break's not for the kids. It's for the teachers. Well, can't the teachers stagger their summer breaks so he's not off for a full week? God bless him. Damon, when do you think the NBA signs a streaming deal like the NFL just did with Amazon? Second part, how much will the cap explode when that money hits? It can only help the cap-strapped Warriors. I don't know how much money it's going to help the Warriors because the new cap is designed to take a team like the Warriors and break it up. But look, everything's going to streaming. All of it. If not today, tomorrow. Cable is in an awful lot of trouble. Again, everything in the world right now needs to be focused on doing it here. If you're not doing it here, you're in an awful lot of trouble. I found that out the hard way, thanks to a radio layoff. And look at me. Where did I go? I'm here now. And through this stupid little rectangle, they're watching me in Japan right now. They're watching me in the Philippines, in Taiwan, in Germany, in Australia, in Finland, in England. That thing is the greatest communicative device ever invented. And if you're not communicating there, you are in trouble. So, thank you. Thank you very, very much. Those driverless cars have issues. Well, of course, they're all in the testing phase. Again, we're the guinea pigs. 30 years from now, the driverless car will probably be more common than the car with the driver in it. Let's be honest. I think we all know which way this is going. How about Don? Don says, I am on vacation in New York City and I'm watching the Palouse. Don, thank you very much. Now, go ahead and get yourself a knish with a little spicy hot mustard. Any corner, you get yourself a knish. When I'm in New York City, the first thing I need is a knish. Spicy mustard in it. It's like a potato pancake. Go get it, Don. Go get it. And then if you are in New York City, get yourself over to Brooklyn tonight and get yourself to Peter Luger's. It's one of those great steak places that officially lives up to all of the hype. I saw a buddy of mine who was like, I'm at Peter Luger's. Like, try the steak. TMZ has got it. All right, well, I got to go watch this video. And then I got to go make sure my wife isn't getting drowned by my 2-year-old. There's always somebody watching you. Shout out Ocean's 11. Indeed. Indeed. Shout out Mitch. Jingle, jangle, fill that ganja jar, baby. Or hire a robot stripper. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you. All right, so hold on. We got a recap here. Nick J says, I've watched the video. She didn't physically grab him. The security guard did backhand her, but it wasn't that hard. It makes the Draymond punch of JP look like a nuclear bomb. Okay. Well, here's the thing. Don't hit a woman, especially if that woman is Britney Spears. I mean, don't hit anybody. I mean, that's the thing. The security didn't probably need to get that physical, no matter who it was. I just didn't Britney have a security detail around her? Again, I have to go ahead. I have to go ahead and watch this. I will in just a second. Mitch says, my grandma's 98. She still goes bowling every week. That's awesome. That's awesome. I hope she's just out there crushing beers too. Let me see here. What else we got? I can hear Ozzy getting louder and louder and louder. I hear Ozzy getting louder and louder and louder. Michelle's right. Leave it to ploosers to go straight to sexy robot overlords. That's my audience. Damon, your sister's probably watching. Maybe. But she knows. Oh, look at Jillian's watching. She's saying, I'm all about the automating help around the house. We don't even have a Roomba. So we're really not getting that much automated help. Remember DJ Roomba? You know what I've been watching lately? I've been watching a lot of Park and Rec reruns. I freaking love Park and Rec reruns. DJ Roomba episode is one of my favorites. You're right. The movie The Blackening should absolutely get blackened for a sponsor. Get that blackened whiskey out there. Wait a minute. We're Ernie. Happy birthday, Ernie Chavez? What? Happy birthday. Hold on. We'll be officially celebrating all Plusser OG birthdays. Happy birthday, Ernie Chavez. Hell yeah. Happy birthday, Ernie Chavez. Ernie, you've been with me for like 2 radio stations. Thank you for being a great and loyal listener. I really do appreciate it. Thanks to all of you. Damon, you need a world clock in the background. You're international. Yeah, we were thinking about maybe like some sort of a timestamp or something, but then all of a sudden I'm clock watching, and I don't want to do that. I just want to go. I don't need a clock around me right now. I just want to get in and go. Rockwell was right. There's somebody always watching you. Thank you. By the way, Sporticus, Knish, and Damon, 6 degrees of rounders. Knish. I do. Yes, Knish. I do remember the character. I was like, when were they eating Knishes? Baron Red going to go pick up. Yeah. Look at this. I got to pick up my Jamie Sirewich at 12:30. Go get yourself something delicious. Go get yourself something delicious. You can do it at Ike's, for sure. My friends, I hope you have a great, great weekend. I hope you have a wonderful time with friends and family. Enjoy yourselves. For a lot of people, we still got the holiday week going on for them. So enjoy it. Have some fun. Pick up a sandwich at Ike's, a burger at Uncle Boy's, or a bottle of whiskey from Blackened, and it'll make your weekend even better. When Trace Jackson Davis makes his Summer League debut, we will be breaking in with a post-game live recap of how his professional debut looked. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't been this juiced for a Summer League in a real long time. So, I mean, will we get a Marco Bellinelli scored 30 game? Oh my God. Remember that? Thank you so much for tuning in. It was really great to have you here. And please do remember that you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.